Hello and welcome! My name is Skyler, and this is the introductory episode to Caravan. Caravan is the name of this real play podcast, which is a term usually used to describe a Dungeons & Dragons podcast. We won't be playing Dungeons & Dragons on this show, however. Not exactly. We're going to be playing a system that I've created based on Dungeons & Dragons to better fit the world Hetrea that my stories take place on, called Tabletop Hetrea. Tabletop Hetrea is not a finished system yet, and this version of it is very heavily based on Dungeons & Dragons. Caravan is the first in what I hope will be a series of Tabletop Hetrea campaigns. Even if you're not familiar with Dungeons & Dragons, I think you're still going to be able to enjoy this show just fine. It might help to know that half of the players of Caravan were also not familiar with Dungeons & Dragons or any form of tabletop RPG before recording this. Something that I think makes Caravan unique, because I haven't seen it before, is that this show is 2 stories in one. I have split my 7 friends who are the players of Caravan into 2 groups, and have run both groups through the same campaign. After this introductory episode, there will be 2 episode 1s, one for each group, and then 2 episode 2s, and 2 episode 3s, etc., etc. The episodes of the same number will go up at the same time, so you can follow along with both if you'd like, or you can listen all the way through one side of the adventure, and then go back and listen through the other side. I'm going to introduce the players and their characters in just a moment, but first I'd like to talk about what makes Tabletop Hetrea different from Dungeons & Dragons. I think the most important difference you're going to notice is that the species available for the players to make their characters as are completely different from the Dungeons & Dragons set, other than humans, which are kind of a staple in most fiction. I let my players choose between 4 different species to play as, so I'm going to talk about each one a little bit here so you have a general idea of what to expect when you're listening to the show. First off, we have humans, and humans are a species I hope you are familiar with, as they exist in the real world. Humans function in Tabletop Hetrea similarly to the way they do in Dungeons & Dragons and, by extension, Earth. The main difference between humans in the real world and humans in Tabletop Hetrea is that humans in Tabletop Hetrea have the potential to become mages and learn magic. And when I say magic, I mean less so like Harry Potter wizard's magic and more so like Avatar: The Last Airbender elemental bending. They're a very well-rounded species and are adaptable to most situations. Next up are Mobians, which, if you have ever read my webcomic.x, you're already somewhat familiar with. Mobians, while still as civilized as humans, are far more feral and animal-like in their appearance, and prefer to fight with their fangs and claws rather than using weapons. Mobians also have the shortest lifespan of any species available to play as. Next up is a fan favorite, the Slime. Slimes are beings made of magic and liquid, and are able to change the shape of their bodies at will, as well as how solid they are, their temperature, and basically anything else about themselves that they choose to. Since slimes rely so much on their own bodies, they struggle to wield weapons and can't use magic the way that other species on Hetrea can. The final species I allowed my players to choose to play as were Unfolk. Unfolk are a species of evolved humans who have become very powerful in the ways of magic, and who have lived most of their history in isolation. However, none of my players chose to make an Unfolk character, and so the only reason I'm explaining that Unfolk exist right now is because they meet up with an Unfolk NPC later on in the adventure. So that's the absolute basics covered. If you'd like more information on these species or the world of Hetrea in which this whole adventure takes place, head on over to Hetrea.com and take a look at the introduction there. Hopefully it'll answer any and all questions you have as well. With the species out of the way, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to read for you the introduction I wrote for my players before they built their characters. This is going to kind of explain what the story of Caravan is, or at least what you need to know going into it. Your characters are all, for one reason or another, about to embark on a journey across the northern sands to reach the Neon City, a newly founded city promising prosperity and a new life to all who are willing to take the dangerous journey across the desert to reach it. You are not alone in wanting to take this journey, as many Hetreans from all across the planet have been traveling to the Wind's Gate, a suddenly bustling town that stands at the mountain valley marking the entrance to the northern sands. In order to transport all these hopefuls across the sands, a system has been worked out of caravanning people in large, industrial, sand-sailing ships, which also transport construction materials for the Neon City. These ships, or caravans as they've come to be called, are massive, rickety, frameless trains with enormous sails that slide across the desert sand. They might not have been built to accommodate the safety of passengers, but as long as you can pay, they'll get you to the Neon City in a week's time. So now let's talk about the players. There are 7 of them, and they are split into 2 groups. For each group, I have come up with a different subtitle for Caravan to represent their side of the story. The first group is made up of my 3 friends who have had any experience with tabletop RPGs in the past. This group's adventure is subtitled Sea of Sand. Since this group has fewer players than the other group, overall its episodes are going to be shorter. The other group of 4 players have all never played a tabletop RPG before Caravan. Their subtitle is Neon Horizon. It takes them an episode or 2 to get comfortable, but they had a lot of fun with it, so if you're looking for a more chaotic adventure, that's going to be the one you're going to want to check out. Both sides tell the same story though, or start to at least. All the differences that come up are directly because of the actions of the players. I had a lot of fun recording both sides of Caravan, and I hope you all have enjoyed listening to it as well. When we started playing, I had each player introduce themselves and their character, so I'm going to play those audio clips for you now. I'm going to have visual aids up on screen to help you get to know the players and their characters as they talk about them. We'll start with the cast of Caravan, Sea of Sand.
Hello, it's me, Terp, and I will be playing the role of Danger Smith.
Okay, do you want to say more things about Who's Danger Smith?
My character. You will find out. Stay tuned. Stay tuned. Okay, wait. Alright, hello. I'm Terp, and I will be playing the role of Danger Smith. A golden yellow slime with ruby red eyes, a cool hat with sunglasses, and a gun.
I'm Ari. Some of you might know me as Daisy. I am going to be playing Emil. He is a young human boy, everyone's favorite white-haired anime boy, and he has a sniper rifle. So that's pretty rad.
Hey, I'm Jared. My character is Maxwell. I am a very big Mobian. I am a hero, and I shaved myself down to look more like a human. I might punch very well, but no hero punches. Every hero needs a club.
And now for your introduction to the players and characters of Caravan Neon Horizon.
My name is James, and my character's name is Angus, Fist of Justice. He is a Mobian fighter, and he's got a bit of a troubled past. He grew up very poor, and he got into a bad habit of stealing food in order to survive. As time went on, it became more out of his own desire to steal rather than necessity, and eventually got caught for it, and he was imprisoned, and prison kind of changed him, you know? And basically, he wants to be a better person. He heard other prisoners talking about a caravan to the Neon City, and so he wants to have a chance at a second life.
Okay, my name is Kevin, and my character, he calls himself the Flannel-Clad Plaid Lad. The Flannel-Clad Plaid Lad is an orphan, and as a child, he was found with only a plaid blanket wrapped around him, which he still carries around to this day. No, I am not Linus. I am Flannel-Clad Plaid Lad. He basically is a mercenary for hire. He's been traveling all around Hetrea, performing jobs, and his most recent journey has brought him to the Wind's Gate, where he has been tasked with delivering a mysterious package to an unknown buyer in the Neon City.
My name is Zella, or my character's name is Zella. She is a slimy
Well, wait,
slime.
what's your name?
I'm Emily. I'm a slimy slime, or Zella is. One of those. We are inseparable. So I guess slimes don't really know much about their species. So Zella's journey quest thing is to go to the city and find more slimes and learn more about our history.
Well, lucky for that slime. Hi, I'm Jackie, and my character's name is Rhymy Slimy. I am a slime with the class Slime. So Rhymy Slimy came to this city to start his or her, I haven't decided yet, career in rapping. And that's about her entire personality.
Well, I think that's going to do it for our introduction. If you have any other questions, I'd be happy to answer them here or on the official Hetrea Twitter page at hetreaofficial@twitter.com. That's not how that works. That's an email address. It's Hetrea Official. It's twitter.com/HetreaOfficial. I don't know if you could tell from the sound of my voice, but I'm very nervous. It's my first time doing a project like this, and while I'm excited, it's all very new and scary, and I don't exactly know what I'm doing, so please bear with me. I know that sometimes the audio quality is not the best, but as the adventures go on, it improves. And hopefully my editing will improve as well. So with that said, thank you so much for listening, and I really hope you love it. Episodes 1 of both Caravan Sea of Sand and Caravan Neon Horizon should be live right now, so go ahead and pick whichever one you want to listen to first and enjoy. I'll see you in the adventure!